If you need any proof that America's youth are more pro-life than their parents before them, come with me to Berkeley campus here in California. Two pro-life college organizations will share with me their plans for changing hearts and minds on abortion, leading the way for a pro-life America. Stay with us. The University of California at Berkeley was chartered in 1868. Since then, it's become one of the preeminent universities in the world. Berkeley is widely known for its history as a liberal activist campus. But within this liberal community, a young pro-life group is introducing change. I had the opportunity to sit down with some of the members of the Berkeley Students for Life. Senior Alberto González, Junior Andrew Lee, and sophomore Katelyn Sills. They defined the mission of the movement and talked about how Berkeley Students for Life upholds the traditions of their campus.
We recognize that as students here on this campus that first of all we have a responsibility to the people of this campus, be it staff, faculty, students, to be able to get them to understand that again this is a universal issue. That when you look at the matter from an ethical point of view, it's something that any reasonable person can understand, and it's not something that that hinges only on faith, on religion, on politics, whatever, but that it is a transcendent issue, and that it applies to everyone insofar as we all can claim to exist only by the very gift of life that we all share.
I'm very glad to be here at Berkeley because Berkeley does have the history of activism and of the free speech movement, and so we're able to use that to our advantage to promote the pro-life movement and to educate students about abortion. Because I mean, if you're not able to talk about the most important issue, life, what are you able to talk about?
How would you say you're following the traditions and history of Berkeley College with your group?
This is a campus that has always been known for its activism. The students here are well known for defending civil rights, talking about human rights, and human rights abuses around the world. Well, I would say this is the fundamental right. It's the right. The right to life is something that if you don't have it, all other rights are useless. You can't live to experience those other rights. So, in a way, I'd say we actually are what support all these other rights that students may fight for. We are the fundamental cause.
Berkeley were known as the free speech zone, free speech movement. Everything in the 70s with free speech, was all here, and that's where the roots are. So they can't go and go like, well, you can't be spreading your views because this is free speech place. So, Berkeley is very supportive. Well, not just supportive, although the establishment is known to be liberal, it's encouraging us to, be free speech, to share our views so that other people know about.
Berkeley Students for Life organizes several outreach projects throughout the school year. Their annual diaper drive involves giving large donations of baby food and supplies to Berkeley Student Parent Center. Berkeley Students for Life recognizes the difficulties student parents face and works to help students choose life and avoid abortion. The group participates in the California Students for Life's annual Celebrate Life conference. They also host an annual Celebrate Life week in January. These students do all they can to spread the pro-life message across their college community.
One particular event that draws a lot of curious people over to us is in January when we have our Celebrate Life week. And during that Celebrate Life week, we have a ribbon memorial. So the trees that are on Sproul Plaza, we pick some of the trees and put ribbons on them. Each of these ribbons signifies about 100,000 abortions in the United States since the Roe v. Wade decision came down. And so that, of course, would amount to about 50 million abortions. And we have signs that explain what these ribbons are. And a lot of people are very angry when they see this, because they would think that it's an injustice to women that we would be doing this sort of thing, when really all it is, it's just a memorial and it's stating the facts.
One way that we have planned for this upcoming semester is through movie screenings. There's an upcoming movie that we're coordinating with Reverend Walter Hoy with called Maafa 21. And we're hoping to show that here at Berkeley and really highlight the history of the eugenics movement and how even when it was called the American Birth Control League and later became Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger's organization has always had a really very strong ties with the eugenics movement. So just highlighting that fact, I think, would really affect the student body and, you know, show Planned Parenthood for what it is and what its history is.
How can you impact other college students and perhaps high school students with your efforts?
If it's, you know, one of the apathetic students that we find so common here at Berkeley, that just letting them know what abortion is and what the procedure is really affects them, because many of them have no idea. You know, unlike other procedures, we never see abortions done on house. You know, we never see it done in ER. No one really knows what it is unless you take the chance to take the opportunity to look, you know, at it yourself. So there's a great video from abort73.com that shows what an abortion is. So I think you know, if students see that, I think they'll really be affected and become more pro-life.
When we return, we'll meet a young pro-life group whose effective use of the internet has been gaining attention.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. Each week we feature real people who deal with real-life issues head-on. Some of their experiences are uplifting, while others will break your heart. But in the end, the message is clear. Those who follow biblical principles on the issues of life are blessed. Become a partner with us in providing a positive, life-affirming message to help change the way the next generation values innocent human life. Please consider a generous gift to help offset the costs of producing this important quality programming. You can donate on our secure website at facinglife.tv or by calling the phone number on your screen during normal business hours. Together, we can make a real difference for life.
Live Action San Jose is a pro-life group of high school and college students in San Jose, California. When not in school, college students Ignacio Reyes and Benderas have dedicated their time to educating youth regarding the sanctity of life and the truth about abortion.
The mission of Live Action is to recognize that all life is sacred, and in the Live Action San Jose chapter, that all life is sacred and a gift from God. We are called to be voices for the voiceless, to speak on behalf of those who are appointed to die.
One of your foundations is the Voices for the Voiceless campaign. Now, what's that about?
The San Jose chapter and all the chapters are based off of the Voices for the Voiceless campaign, which is the foundation of Live Action, how it began, which is us, our group and our youth, going to churches and speaking about what abortion is, and how to defend the pro-life position. And not only that, but we also have an activism. That's when we go to either to campuses or we go to just downtown and we talk to people and we interview them. We say, well, what do you think about abortion? Do you think it's right or wrong? And then we engage in conversation. Sometimes we show graphic images, sometimes we don't. It depends on what we feel is going to be strongest for that group, and that's what that is. It's the core, the activism part of Live Action.
Would you say the efforts that your group has undertaken is really bearing fruit? Are young people seeing the information and responding?
Every single presentation is encouraging. We always get people to tell us they will open their eyes, change their minds, or want to be active, and they sign on. There's always people inspired by it and encouraged to be active.
And I would say a great majority, if not all of us, that are involved in Live Action San Jose were touched by another Live Action San Jose member. And I know for sure the leadership, 100% of the leadership of this chapter has been converted through another Live Action member. So we do see the fruit, and even on the short conversations that we have on the street when we interview people, some people have told us, okay, I changed my mind, or some people say, okay, then never mind, forget what I just said, and so we do see conversions right then and there. Plus the ones we don't see, the ones that plant the seed, that go home with it, that think about it, that we'll never know about. So we definitely see the fruit.
Recently, Live Action San Jose hosted the Chastity Life Student Conference. This was an opportunity for high school and college students to hear speakers tackle topics of human sexuality, facts about abortion, and what it means to be chaste. The conference gave students the courage and knowledge to defend the pro-life message. Live Action San Jose also hosts an event called Hip Hop for Life, instrumental in reaching young adults in their community.
We used the hip hop music to draw the youth and then deliver the pro-life message. Every single hip hop artist was pro-life and understood what we were doing. So everybody, and in between each performer, each artist, we had a video of either the Racism Project or the Mona Lisa Project. So in between we would have something like that. Or we would have a talk about the adult room.
The adult room is, it's a very secret room that we put in the Hip Hop for Life that we said, don't tell anyone what it is. And we initially said, you can only go there one at a time. And so it's just the curiosity built up, and we had a line, just the longest line.
So
and
this is a room they actually go in?
Yeah, it was a room inside of the concert that we were having, and it was very secret, and it was closed, and there was very dark curtains, and nobody knew what it was. And so all they saw was just a big line, and people coming out of there crying or saying, you gotta watch this, and they couldn't say what it was. And so what it was is there was a laptop there with a video showing a projector showing the video of what abortion is. Oh. And it was very powerful because I don't know that anyone left the room. Everybody sat there and watched it and came out really touched.
Live Action has made great use of the video sharing website YouTube in spreading their message. The San Jose chapter has posted videos showing college students talking about their views on abortion, or they show graphic images presenting the truth about abortion. The Mona Lisa project, conducted by the National Live Action chapter, has stirred huge controversy on the web. The project is a series of undercover videos that follow Live Action president Lila Rose, posing as a 13-year-old girl. They expose Planned Parenthood's willingness to repeatedly violate mandatory laws of reporting statutory rape.
YouTube actually censors us all the time. The Mona Lisa Project videos were censored. They're always being censored. And so one of our videos now is a video on YouTube protesting YouTube because they censor us. And so on that video we explain why they're censoring us and why it's unfair. And we ask people to sign a petition to put it back on YouTube.
And it's an unjust censorship because they said if you are going to have graphic images, there has to be education followed by it. And we did. We showed how Planned Parenthood doesn't tell the truth of these images. That's what we're trying to say. These are the true images. And look at what this is, educating people of how Planned Parenthood lies about these images. They also pulled that one out. And it was only 3 images. And there's already other graphic images out there on YouTube that are not censored.
Coming up, we'll learn why it's important for young people to get involved in the pro-life movement.
Whether you're a student needing answers, a parent needing help, or a concerned citizen wanting to make a difference, Life Issues Institute has the resources you need to put your values into action. Life Issues Institute is an international educational organization committed to protecting innocent human life. Life Issues Institute knows what it takes. That's why millions throughout the world turn here for help. Life Issues Institute has authored more pro-life publications than any other entity in the world, and its materials are printed in over 30 languages. Radio broadcasts, newsletters, and a website filled to the brim with the answers you're looking for are just a click away. Go to facinglife.tv and click on the link to Life Issues Institute to find out more about how you can change the heart of a nation.
Spreading the pro-life point of view in the midst of liberal communities hasn't deterred the students of Live Action San Jose or Berkeley Students for Life from sharing their message. These young people know their generation is the future of the pro-life movement, and they found them to be the most receptive listeners to their cause. Why do you think it's important for people like you to get involved in the pro-life movement, and do you really think you can make a difference?
A college student has the most chance of making a difference here. People's opinions are solidified in college. I think, I don't know the statistics exactly, but statistics say that when people go into college, they're more pro-life than they are coming out of college. And so, you know, if we're here to turn the tides, we can affect people's opinions throughout their entire life. If they don't change from pro-life to pro-choice, we have a nation of pro-life people. So I think as college students, we can have a huge effect on the country.
I hope that most people that come to college are also believe that they want to come here not to, you know, solidify their beliefs, but to learn about other beliefs, to learn about other viewpoints, and then to learn more and to figure out what they believe in. So I feel like we have a great opportunity here.
Most young people that we've encountered, well, it's pretty divided, just like the country's divided, but we have found some very passionate kids, and it's older people that, in fact, I've gotten this phrase, your evidence is flawless, and your argument is very logical, but I'm still not going to change my mind. And so that we do find that kind of mentality, but it tends to be the older people. The young people are very receptive to a clearly presented case.
Have you seen abortion affect your generation?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons a lot of this generation is pro-life, because they're mad that some of their generation has died, and a lot of them are survivors of abortion. We have a lot of stories of, I was going to get aborted. My mom just told me that I was going to get aborted. The generation today, I think that's one of the reasons why they're more pro-life than previous generations, because it's their generation that's being killed off, and a lot of them have been survivors of abortion.
The University of California at Berkeley has a long history of defending civil rights issues. Alberto, Katelyn, and Andrew explain how their defense of the rights of unborn children mirrors the fight of the abolitionists against slavery many years ago. They also point out how advocating for fundamental rights has been a long-standing tradition in our nation. Do you see any similarity between what you're doing, fighting for the rights of unborn, versus what the abolitionists did, fighting for the rights of slaves?
Absolutely, because it's all about how we view human life, the sort of dignity that we apply to it. So in the case of slaves, they were seen as subhuman, and that's why they were able to justify slavery. In this case, we see the unborn child as subhuman, and so we can justify, or other people will justify abortion for that same reason. It's a matter of being able to recognize what actually constitutes personhood, and what constitutes the very nature of our human existence. And once we've done that, then you can't deny that taking that life would in fact be wrong.
If you look at history, the arguments for slavery and the arguments for abortion are very similar. If you don't like an abortion, don't have one, is one argument that's very common amongst the pro-abortion movement. And if you look at the Lincoln-Douglas debates, you see that Stephen Douglas, in his popular sovereignty movement, supported the proposition that if you don't like slaves, well, you don't have to have slaves. People in other states can have slaves. That's not a problem, right? So I think there's great similarities between both abortion and slavery. Abortion is one of those instances in which a certain segment of society is dehumanized and their rights are violated.
In a moment, we'll hear how this young generation is optimistic they'll see an end to abortion.
Thank you for inviting us into your home. Each week we feature real people who deal with real-life issues head-on. Some of their experiences are uplifting, while others will break your heart. But in the end, the message is clear. Those who follow biblical principles on the issues of life are blessed. Become a partner with us in providing a positive, life-affirming message to help change the way the next generation values innocent human life. Please consider a generous gift to help offset the costs of producing this important quality programming. You can donate on our secure website at facinglife.tv or by calling the phone number on your screen during normal business hours. Together, we can make a real difference for life.
Stories throughout history echo the powerful voices of young people. The college students of Live Action San Jose and Berkeley Students for Life are upholding this standard. They believe it will be the youth of America who will be the catalyst for affecting change in the arena of abortion.
As the years go along, as the decades go along, people will start to see the effects that this is going to have, you know, if population decline continues the way that it's going now in many places of the world. If it gets worse in other places of the world, like here in the United States, for instance, people are going to see the drastic effects that this has left us with, and they're going to regret it, and then they'll want to put a stop to it. But I think once they see it, that the end will come.
I'm very optimistic that within our lifetime we can see abortion come to an end. It may take a while. It may take, it may take 30 years. It may take more than that. But if we look historically, in England, when William Wilberforce was attempting to end the slave trade, it took him a very long time just to end the trade itself, and slavery happened